Let's go.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Halftime Adjustments Podcast. I am your host, Derric Benavidez, and as always, I got my best friend with me, Colton McCarley, and we have a special guest today. David Benavidez is in the house. David, a.k.a. Dabs, a.k.a. Lucky Charms.
A.K.A. beat you in fantasy to be the champion.
Oh, man, we're co-champions. So that's all that matters. We both win.
We will have a battle of the deaf after this podcast.
And I'll win. All right. Well, welcome everybody back to another episode of Halftime Adjustments Podcast. We are glad that everybody came and joined us today. We're going to bounce right into the news, and we got a lot of stuff to talk about today, so we're just going to go right into it. First of all, let's just give a shout out to our hometown in Fort Worth, where TCU just got spanked by Georgia. What was the final score for that? Was it was like 64 to like 7?
Yes,
right?
I think it was 65-7 or something insane. Jesus. They won by 58 points.
Dude, is that the biggest?
No,
like
that's the biggest. TCU has a record for that.
It is the biggest.
You know what? I'm just happy we were in it. For those of you that are just now listening to us, we are from the DFW area, specifically in Fort Worth, and we were rooting for TCU, but I guess it didn't happen.
Still pretty cool to watch that run, though. That was fun to see.
Yeah, why not? I mean,
dude, it just shows you the skill gap between the SEC and the Big 12.
Right.
Oh my God, for real.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. OU, or what is it? Yeah, it's OU in Texas. They're both like trying to back out of their deals now.
Yeah.
Like, oh, hell no. I'm not doing that.
Dude, it's crazy because Georgia's backup, their whole team, still put up points.
Yeah. They played like the whole second half of the game.
It's crazy. And Georgia had, 15 starters last year that went to the draft? And now look at their team now.
Yeah. And this is that's just what happens whenever the SEC is going up against a tough opponent. So, all right, let's.
That was embarrassing.
Yeah, let's talk about some NFL news, though. First things first, we want to bring to light the Cardinals ended up firing Cliff Kingsbury. This is pretty, honestly, I think it's pretty surprising. I know most people don't think it's surprising because there was so much controversy with him and Kyler. But I don't know. I don't think he was that bad of a coach. The first year he coached them, they had a pretty good record, I thought. But maybe I'm in the minority here.
No, I got to agree with you, man. I actually think this is a really weird move by them. I don't understand where this rift came from all of a sudden between Kyler and Kingsbury. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. They had success. He seems to be creative. He really let Kyler do his own thing, but it's almost just like Kyler kept wanting more and more control to the point where he even coached a preseason game and did horrible. So I guess it's one of those things where it's like, if Luka tomorrow decided he didn't like the head coach for the Mavs, you get rid of the coach. You're not getting rid of the quarterback. So this is, I think, a similar situation. He was like, it's either me or the coach. And, obviously speculation, we don't know, but they clearly had some issues. So I think that's why he's gone, and he'll go off to college somewhere and be successful again.
I think it was Kyler, 100%. 100%. To me, he is not a good QB at all.
Really?
I don't. The first half, he does good. Second half, stinks it up.
Yeah.
And I just don't think he's that QB that can demand what he's demanding and wanting to basically run the whole team.
and he's short. Am I right?
Hey, short kings out there. But
What's wrong with being short?
His whittle knees couldn't take it. That's what's wrong.
But like literally, what has Kyler done for Arizona?
Yeah, I mean,
What has he
honestly,
done?
you're not wrong.
Like,
Yeah.
no,
Put him in the spotlight, I guess.
he
That's the
hasn't
only thing
proved
you can say.
himself. He hasn't won nothing. I mean, I think it's a bad call for Arizona, but we'll see what happens next season.
Yeah, because that just shows you that they're going with Kyler. Yeah, they're rolling with Kyler, and they did just sign him too to a massive deal. So I kind of get where they're going with that, but yeah, I don't know.
Which is, I mean, if you look at, they signed Kingsbury to a 4-year extension just this offseason. So, like, they clearly, this offseason, there wasn't that big of a rift. It wasn't that bad. Like, things progressed and went downhill very fast for this relationship. Maybe it was an organizational relationship. Because didn't the GM also step down?
Yeah.
Didn't they cleaned house completely?
Yeah, they're cleaning house.
So, yeah, this is an odd move. But when you're looking at what's easier to find, like, say what you will about Kyler, he can scramble. He is somewhat accurate. He has a great relationship with the wide receivers, at least. You know, I don't know that he can command a locker room, but, like, that is a lot harder to find than another head coach who could run a system. Like, that's a lot easier to find. You know, so
Right.
I understand why they do it. It makes a hell of a lot more sense.
There's a lot of head coaches out there too that are looking for a job right now. I think.
For sure. Yeah.
The thing is that them firing Cliff Kingsbury and this other piece of news, I'll go ahead and say it, that they're also shopping DeAndre Hopkins as well. It goes to show that it looks like they're trying to rebuild, which is weird because I think they have a pretty solid team. I don't understand the reasoning for rebuilding. I mean, I don't know. I think they have a pretty solid team, but now that we're looking at shopping D-Hop, I mean, I understand it to a point because he is getting up there in age, and they're probably looking for somebody long term. But I mean, if you're shopping D-Hop around, you're obviously going to try to trade him for like a really high draft pick or maybe a younger, like healthier wide receiver maybe out there. I don't know, but that's where my headcanon is for what they're doing over there in Arizona.
So I guess, Derek, to ask you a question, if you're Arizona, where would you want D-Hop to go to get the most value for him?
See, that's a tough question. I mean, where he makes the most sense for me is Tennessee Titans. I mean, he makes the most sense there for me. I don't know what they would be willing to give up for him, though.
That's the thing. Tennessee has nothing.
Yeah, they really,
They do have young receivers, but I mean, I don't think Arizona would want that. And like, I could see him personally going to New England, but I mean, New England doesn't really have much.
I mean, my take on this is Bears make the absolute most sense. They're not going to pay the first round pick, but no one is going to give up a first round pick for a 30-year-old wide receiver who's going to be 31 when the season starts. His birthday's on June 6th. So you're talking about a 31-year-old wide receiver who's shown wear and tear on his body and has also had a PED problem in the past. No one's going to pay. You may get a second round for him, so you might as well shop it for teams who could use like a high, who could use wide receiver who has a high second round pick. Chicago makes a lot of sense in that situation. I mean, maybe Atlanta, but that I don't know. Carolina, perhaps. But I'm thinking for teams that have a high second round pick. I don't think anybody's going to pay even remotely close to a first.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to see the Bears getting him. I don't know because the other thing is that the Bears have the 101 now in the draft, so they have I don't know if they waste that 101 on a wide receiver, but
No. They pay the 201. You just pay your high second round pick. You think DeAndre Hopkins is getting traded for a first?
Nah, I doubt it. But a second.
Yeah, so
maybe.
you're aiming for someone who's high on a second round, which is the Bears. They have the highest second round you can get. So if there was a team who was going to give that up, not only do they have a high second round pick, they have $100 million in cap space this year. They have the most cap space by a wide margin of any other team in the NFL right now. So if there was a team who could absorb the impact, they could use a big name for Justin Fields, and you're only paying a second round pick for him in their eyes, or you can hope that you hit on a rookie wide receiver, which we haven't been able to do in like 10 freaking years. So that, to me, would make a whole lot of sense to be able to take on the salary and get the star player for Fields, so you can tell your organization and fans we're doing what we can for him.
Could you imagine if he goes to the Bears? D-Hop, a healthy Darnell Mooney, Claypool in the slot, and then you have Montgomery and Herbert, and you have Fields.
And Cole Kmet.
That would be nice.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a well-rounded offense.
I don't understand how they're so. I don't understand how they're like in last place right now. They're really good at losing. Maybe that's what they were going for. But yeah, I mean, if he goes to the Bears, that would be shocking to me. Honestly, I would get shocked.
Because you know why? I think they could even win the division. Because where's Kirk Cousins going to go next year? He's getting up there in age. Green Bay, full rebuild.
Ooh, yeah.
Yep.
Detroit, they're up there.
They're
I mean, I would take Chicago.
I think I would take Detroit next year in that division. For me personally, I think Detroit is on the rise, and they have a great draft pick next year too. So I think they're on the rise. I don't think Vikings go back.
I had a friend who said the exact same thing, and he's a Lions fan, and he said that the Lions need to trade for one more wide receiver or draft a wide receiver this year too. And I just don't see it.
No.
I mean, maybe I'm alone on this island here, but Amon-Ra, can we all agree that Amon-Ra is like an elite? He's a top 10 wide receiver in the league 100%. Right now.
And then you just have that dude, Jameson Williams, too.
Exactly. They just spent a first-round pick on Jameson Williams, who was from Alabama. He was projected the number one wide receiver in that class before he tore his ACL. So, like, you get Hopkins, you now stunt the progression of him because he's an outside wideout. He can't, he doesn't play slot. Neither does Hopkins. So you're killing either that or Amon-Ra's work in the middle, and he's not really, I mean, he's an outside guy too. So, he said that the other day too. And maybe Derric, you're onto something here that they want another wide receiver. But in my eyes, I think I don't know. They look like they're set. I think they would just kill the progression of their young players by getting an old guy like that.
Yeah.
Who is going to have a good, that he's going to command the ball.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Detroit goes for another receiver. I think they're going to work with the receivers that they have now. Honestly, that's my opinion, and I firmly believe that. Because they have Amon-Ra. He's great. He's going to be good on that team. They have Jameson Williams, like you said, and then they still have Chark too. I mean, and then they have DeAndre Swift catching balls out of the backfield. If anything, I can see them going for a tight end, honestly. But I don't know if they would go for that in the first round or not. But
just wait for next year until that Georgia tight end comes out.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, that guy's going to be a top 5 pick.
Yeah,
he's insane. He's so good. So, Derric, you know what this means?
What?
All this means one thing.
What?
You want to take any guess?
What?
Nothing?
No, nothing. What?
Okay. This all means Hollywood Brown to the moon, baby. Let's go. Next year is his year. I may have been off this year, but I'm not next year. The guy's going to kill it.
He might be good, especially with whenever Kyler Murray comes back. I think he should be good. But I don't
exactly.
know, yeah. He's going to be the number one over there now.
Hey, when he was the number one, he was a top 10 wide receiver.
So, well, I mean, another place that I could see D-Hop going is the Giants, and I know Luis would be ecstatic about that.
Oh my gosh. That'd be great for him.
Yeah. If he goes to the Giants, that'd be crazy.
D-Hop and a young Darius Slayton?
With Saquon Barkley in the backfield?
That's not a bad. That's actually a really good place for him to land. I think everybody wins in that situation there.
Mm-hmm. People keep forgetting that the Giants really need a wide receiver. I don't know. They could go for one in the draft though. I could see them doing that as well.
But would you?
They keep missing on wide receivers. I don't know if they want to do that again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. All right, let's move on. We already talked about it briefly, but the Bears now have the first pick, and now that the Texans won the game. And it's funny because Levy Smith literally just won the game out of spite, I feel like, because he knew that they were going to fire him. So now they don't have the number one pick.
Hard.
They don't have the number one pick anymore. Dude, I don't understand why they fired Levy Smith. I honestly, he was put in a terrible situation from the start.
Yeah, he was.
I hate coaches that go to a crappy team and can't turn it around within a year. They give him 1 year max.
Yeah.
And says, you're out. And that's what happened to the last head coach for the Texans. Just one season. You can't do much when you have your best wide receiver. He's out with personal issues, but he's just mad because he didn't get traded.
Yeah, and Brandon Cooks is not coming back either. So.
No.
Yeah, I don't get that. Like, honestly, Levy Smith was put in a terrible situation, and they put the blame on him for he didn't have a quarterback to work with. I mean, his running back was really good, and then he got injured.
No, he not at first though.
Well, not at first, but he was starting to come alive and towards like after like the third or fourth game. But yeah, I mean, yeah, like the receivers were not too efficient up until the end. Like the end, they started to come alive. Their defense obviously wasn't great, the Texans' defense, but I mean, they don't really have much to work with. That's the thing. So,
yeah, I'd say that's probably the most incomplete roster in all of football. I think they are like obviously they are clearly the most ill-organized and mismanaged team in the NFL. Mm-hmm. But like when you look at other teams, like we talked about it, Chicago, Arizona, the Colts, Seattle, Lions, those are the people who are the top 6 picks this year. Every one of those teams, you look and you're like, man, how were they that low? Like those teams had some pretty, like the Colts, bad quarterback play, but they still have phenomenal talent on the defensive side of the ball and offensive side of the ball. When you look at Houston, like they don't have anything. I don't understand. Like they have nothing, man. They have Stingley Jr., who kind of looked like he sucked this year.
He did.
He didn't look great by any means. Damian Pierce, who looked great after a little while, which you could say, if anything, was because the coach developed him correctly.
Yeah.
And you just got rid of the guy who potentially developed him the right way. I just don't get what their direction is. They seem to be lost. And they have a chance to turn it around here by getting the franchise quarterback. But they could have had whoever they wanted. Now they just have to get the leftovers.
Yeah. Well, it's
I take that back because Chicago's not going with the quarterback.
Yeah, they're not going with the quarterback. I was just about to say the Bears might even trade their first pick.
Yeah,
I could see them doing that, but I also could see them using it for something really efficient. But yeah, I mean, I think Houston's going to get whoever they want at QB. But they're definitely going for QB.
I've heard. Apparently, there's been a few people who are saying that the Colts are like the most prime candidate to jump to 1 because it's not too far. From 4 to 1 is not a massive jump. You wouldn't have to give up a ton, but they are the most quarterback needy team because they have a pretty built to win now roster. So if you slap a quarterback like they've been trying to do for the past 3 seasons there, it's a pretty good team. They just can't get the guy. So I could actually see Indianapolis trying to jump up to 1 and try to take that. And I mean, that leaves Chicago plenty of amazing talent on the board to still go after. You have some edge rushers, cornerbacks, offensive tackles, still plenty on the board for them.
Yeah, same thing with you, Cole. I actually had Seattle jumping up to 1. Because, I mean, Geno Smith
I don't mind that.
Geno Smith is getting up there. Who knows if they'll sign him back. And you have C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young. So, I mean, if you're Houston, you're going to get one of those two, which isn't that bad, to be honest. Mm-hmm. And then literally going from 1 to 5, Chicago can still shop that if they wanted to, or just go at the fifth spot.
Oh, that's right, because
there's a lot of options.
The Seahawks have the 6th pick, right?
The fifth. They got it from Denver.
Yeah, from Denver. That's right.
5.
From that robber over there in Colorado, Russell Wilson.
Worst trade ever. That looks so bad.
Yeah, that sucks for them.
We'll see what happens next year. I mean, do you really think it was Russ, or do you think it was a coach?
Here's the scary part about this, because his last few games, he's been putting it on. Like, he's been really good.
Yeah, he has.
This is the death sentence right here. Because are you going to trust Russ next year?
And plus, Cortland Sutton.
You have to. You committed way too much money.
Yeah. Cortland Sutton was like a top 10 wide receiver like the first 6 games. Like, him and Russ were connecting.
Yeah, they were.
And you have Jerry Jeudy.
I mean, like, for fantasy, though, would you trust Russell Wilson next year?
Oh, I get what you're saying. Not a shot.
No,
no chance.
There's a lot of
QBs.
in
like the 11th, 12th round. Sure.
For a backup, I would get Mike White over Russell Wilson.
Dude.
That's fair, actually.
And who knows if he's even going to start next year. But that's how confident I am.
I don't know. I mean, ever since they fired Nathaniel Hackett, Russell Wilson's been great. So I don't know.
I guess I got to see who they get.
Yeah,
Who's the new coach there?
Yeah, who's going to be the new coach over there in Denver? I agree. Oh man,
let's see.
I mean, here's the thing, though.
Which apparently, have y'all heard?
What?
Have y'all heard the coaches they're like shopping for?
Oh, they're big names.
Oh, Sean Payton and his crew that he'll probably come. Which if they get Sean Payton somehow, oh my God.
Yeah, so that's probably one of the more intriguing storylines is Sean Payton. So Sean Payton has said the only way that he's really coming out of retirement and stepping away from TV is if a coach or if a organization will give him control. He's not going to come into a situation like, I feel like McCarthy. McCarthy, when he came in, he was told, here's your offensive coordinator, here's your defensive coordinator, here's your team. You have zero control. He's not coming to Dallas unless he's given the full keys to the kingdom. Apparently he's already said that when he's assembling his team, the front runner for defensive coordinator is Vic Fangio, who was the previous coach over in Denver. So would they allow him to come back? Would they let that happen? That situation, would it go through? And on top of all of this, Saints won a first-round pick in order to release the rights of Sean Payton.
What?
So I didn't know that.
That's
crazy. They're asking for a first round.
Whoa, that's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I would.
Yep.
Yeah, that's tough. I don't know if I would be. The Broncos don't even have a first-round pick to begin with.
Exactly.
I don't understand how they could do that.
I mean, there's no shot.
People have said they'll probably settle on like a second.
Yeah.
No way.
No shot.
No way.
I mean, here's the thing, like, because they also interviewed John Harbaugh from Michigan. I don't think that would be. I would be really shocked if he left Michigan to come to Denver. But I mean, it's possible. It would be surprising only because he said that he was going to stay in Michigan to coach there. So I don't know.
I don't think he wants to come back to the NFL. He had his stint with the NFL. He was not that good of a coach when he was here. He got fired for a reason.
Right.
People forget, this is what I don't understand. We always try to retread NFL coaches who leave. Like, I guarantee you the next big candidate 3 to 4 years from now is going to be Kingsbury again when he goes to another college, is dominant in college again. And then we're like, oh, man, we did it with Urban Meyer. We've done it with now Harbaugh. And, I mean, we keep retreading these guys. I don't understand why. It clearly doesn't translate all the time, at least.
I mean, prime example was Nick Saban. Didn't do good in NFL.
Very true.
Now he's Mr. Alabama himself.
Mm-hmm.
I mean...
Mm-hmm.
Very
He's
true.
the Alabama.
Another coach that's thinking about leaving is Sean McVay.
What?
Yeah, did y'all hear about that?
What?
Yeah, Sean McVay's thinking about leaving.
Did.
He's getting offered by like Amazon to be an analysis, and he's getting offered like a stupid amount of money out there. Honestly, it's not a bad idea. I would take the money.
So he's gonna be like the Romo of Amazon, basically, just gets a bag.
Pretty much. I don't know how it's all going to work, but yeah, I mean, if he leaves, like that's their biggest like, screw you, I won a Super Bowl, now let me leave.
There's no way though. After one bad season.
I mean, the thing is that he was thinking about leaving before the season started. I mean, everybody else is leaving. Like Aaron Donald's probably gone. Matthew Stafford's like on his last leg, I think, here.
But you have Baker Mayfield.
Yeah. See.
Hey, Baker Mayfield or Russell Wilson?
I would go Russ.
Russell. Yeah.
Yeah, I would go Russ. Yeah, that's tough though. Because I mean, I don't think he's gonna start next season. That's the only reason why.
But that's also sad that you have to think about it though. That's how bad Russell is.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I don't know. Would you go Russell Wilson or one of the rookie QBs that's gonna get drafted this upcoming season? CJ Stroud. I'll just say that.
Oh, give me CJ and Bryce Young any day of the week.
Dude, I'm so high on Stroud. I actually think Bryce Young's going to be a bit of a bust. I think Stroud's going to end up being the best quarterback of this draft.
I think so too. I think you're right.
I'm worried about Young.
That's how majority of Alabama QBs are though. They don't do too hot.
Yeah.
Besides Tua,
I mean, kind of. They've produced a lot of guys. Tua, Hurts.
Oh, I forgot.
Well, Hurts was there. Yeah, I forgot that.
Then he went to OU.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, but he was there. Yeah, that's where he came from. But I mean, the only issue is he's short. I didn't realize how short he was, but he's only 5'11".
Who? Bryce Young?
Yeah, Bryce Young's only 5'11".
Mm-hmm.
Stroud's like 6'3". So we've seen, like, everybody wants to say that small quarterbacks, like, oh, it's totally fine, it's not that big of a deal. But we keep seeing these smaller guys, like they don't necessarily pan out, whether it be for injury concerns or just people putting hands in the face, like they're not translating. Especially if they don't have just rapid speed. The only reason why Murray has any success is because he can scramble out of literally everything. If you take his scramble game away from him, he's not a really good pocket passer. So I just worry about that.
I haven't really watched Bryce Young play. I don't know is he a good scrambler or not?
He's electric. Yeah, he can do it. But, I mean, shoot, we just saw Kyler Murray tear his ACL without even making contact with anyone. Yeah. What happens if that happens and he loses his mobility? Well, now you just have a 5'11" quarterback.
Yeah, I definitely like Stroud more than Bryce Young for sure. But he's gonna get picked. He's gonna get picked in one or two. I have a feeling. So I don't know.
So let's just say hypothetically, the Texans get the first pick. Who do you go with? CJ or Bryce?
I feel like they would make the mistake and pick Bryce Young. I feel like they would, and then like they would ruin their like chances down the line. Because I feel like at least with CJ Stroud,
Texans organization.
No, go ahead, Colton. Sorry.
No, like that organization, they just constantly make the wrong call. So it wouldn't surprise me for them to take the quarterback who's undersized and, has – that's the thing, man. Alabama just has everything in place to succeed. And so, like, it's so hard to know if that's the team around them or if that's the quarterback.
Right.
And, I don't know. Stroud just looks like the more complete package. So if I'm the GM, I'm taking Stroud. Their GM, I think that they're probably higher on Young.
Yeah, I mean, like I was gonna say, like I think CJ Stroud is one of those players that he can be put in any position and succeed. But like you said, like Bryce Young, he's kind of been put in like a good situation. I mean, and if he goes to the Houston Texans, they don't have any good situation down there. Like they have every bad situation.
Nothing.
So I feel like Stroud could like muster up something, and then they could build a team around him as the years progress. So, but I mean that's just my opinion on what I think the draft should be.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's similar to Trevor Lawrence, where like the Jaguars, he didn't look so hot his first year, and everybody was like, "Oh, bust, big bust," but like he was I don't know. He persevered through a really bad year, and now he looks phenomenal. Like he looks like what you thought you were getting. Mm-hmm. So I mean, it is what you put around him for sure, and like what you can do with the prospect. And I don't know. I don't trust Houston to make any quarterback successful. They seem like they just have zero interest in doing that.
Right.
But yeah, I think if you're going to have success, and one of those guys can try to, I think try to persevere through it, I would say probably Stroud's the guy that I'm giving that chance on.
Yeah.
So.
And he has no weapons around him because Brandon Cooks is probably going to leave. So do you try to convince Cooks to stay?
Yeah, he's out the door, bro.
I mean,
nah, he's not going to. I doubt it.
Your only weapon there is Dameon Pierce.
Yes, literally. I think Brandon Cooks would literally retire before he comes back to the Texans.
He can come to Dallas.
So too. He wants out.
Yeah, no way.
Shoot, that's where he wanted to come. He wanted to go to Dallas.
I don't think Dallas needs any more receivers.
No, we got too many, bro. And who knows if we re-sign T.Y. or not?
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, T.Y.'s not bad. He didn't look bad.
We signed James Washington in the offseason.
Oh, yeah.
He got injured, played one game, and then we signed T.Y.
Yeah.
So...
where's Bijan Robinson going, fellas?
Oh man.
Hold up. Oh man.
I have a bet with a buddy that he doesn't go top 12. I think he will slip past 12.
Dang, who could grab him?
So I think it's between... I think Carolina gets him.
I was just about to say that.
I think Carolina
was just
gets him.
about to say that.
Yes, they need more help, but I think with that type of running back, I think he can be the next big thing. I'm high on him myself, but
so you're telling me the team? They just got rid of an electric running back.
Exactly.
And they clearly saw. No. But hear me out. Okay. If you're that organization, and you just had the most electric running back in football in McCaffrey, who we clearly saw when he went to a team that was complete, he has been balling out. But you clearly were not letting him cook, essentially, right? So you clearly know now that even if you have the electric player, he's not going to stand out the way he needs to if you don't have the complete team around him. Because the running back is the icing on the cake. He's not the straw that stirs the drink. That's the quarterback. That is what are they, 9? That's still a top 10 pick. That's offensive line help. That's top tier edge rushers. That's top tier defensive tackles. You're talking like elite skill player positions that have longevity with their careers. I think if they spent that on another running back, they may be worse than the Houston Texans. That'd be such a disservice to that organization by taking him there. My opinion.
So where do you think he falls in, since you said that he doesn't go past 12?
Yeah, no. I'm thinking he falls past 12. I don't think so. The only exception to that would be, I think, the Eagles, because they are such a complete team. They are the team that has the ability to take that dessert pick. They can say, "Okay, Bijan, you are the guy who we think can put us over the edge. If you can be a Derrick Henry and rush for damn near 2,000 yards a season, well, there you go. Like, you found it. They can take that. But if they do fall past that, I think New England's a great opportunity. I think Washington could be a good place. Pittsburgh, Tampa is a great option.
Pittsburgh, they have Najee.
And they have Warren as a backup.
Najee's not looking great.
I think he's their franchise running back for a while. I think he's going to be their running back for a while.
I don't think he goes to Washington.
You might be right on that.
With Brian Robinson and Antonio Gibson.
They clearly don't like Gibson. They're putting him on punt returns. Yeah. So, you're right. Robinson, they like the story. They might not take him. I think that's a potential landing spot for him for sure. I think New England is a great argument that they could use a guy. I don't know. They have Stevenson.
Ramondre.
They're pretty happy with Stevenson. Yeah. I don't know. It's tough.
And then you have Damien Harris, too.
They do have Damien Harris. I think he's on his final year there, though.
But then you have another. I think like
Tampa at 19.
String.
Yeah.
I guess Tampa at 19 is where I have him going.
Tampa Bay. Ugh. Honestly, I agree with Davs. I think the Panthers could get him. I don't think it's a smart move, but I think it's a great move. Honestly, they're in a rebuilding stage. They're not going to get a QB this year because their draft pick isn't that great. But they do need a QB, so they'll probably wait for it until next year. So they could probably just blow a pick on Bijan and grab him in the first round.
You know
or
what?
get one of the top edge guys, build their offensive line. I mean, there's just so many other options. Get an elite wide receiver that they clearly need. I don't know. I just don't know. That seems to be the spoil pick. We've seen it with Barkley, Zeke, Fournette were the last three guys to be picked in the top 10. Really, all those guys were in the top 5. All three of them turned out to be horrible, horrible picks. When you look at the value on what you spent for them compared to what other players have been doing in their careers during that time, they do not last as long. The miles add up a hell of a lot faster. Fournette's body is hurting. Zeke's body is hurting. The only reason Barkley is not is because he took a year off. He has less wear and tear on his body.
I want to change my pick from Carolina to Las Vegas because I don't think they re-signed Josh Jacobs.
They need a quarterback.
I literally seen clips of Josh Jacobs about him just hating the Raiders. Watch, some dumb team is going to get him. He's going to go top 9. I'll say top 10. I think he goes top 10.
I can see Eagles. I could see out of those 10 players, if Eagles are a smart organization, they would take the best whatever is available besides running back. No one needs to even remotely come close to taking a running back in the top 15.
I don't
really
think
they shouldn't even be doing it in the top 20.
I really don't think the Eagles would get the chance to grab him unless they traded up.
Wow, you think he's going that high? My goodness.
Yeah. Yes.
Can we make a bet, Cole? Can we make a bet?
I'll make a bet. I already have a bet with somebody else that he does not go top 12.
That's right, he does.
I'll make another bet that he doesn't go
20
top 12.
bucks right here on the podcast. He goes top 10.
Go top 10.
Or no.
Deal.
You know what? No. So you have him going to Philly. Philly has a 10th. I'll say top 9.
Oh, top 9? Dude, I'm down for that. I am all in on that.
Okay.
Top 9. Shoot.
I got a lot of draft bets running. I have one that he doesn't go top 10. I have one that he doesn't go top 12, and then I have a third one that Stetson Bennett does not go before the third round. That he goes either in the 4th or the 5th round. I got a lot of draft bets running. I didn't make notes of these.
Dude, I can give you QBs who I would rather have than Stetson Bennett. Off rip.
Oh, we went through the whole list yesterday, but my brother Chris is convinced that he'll go in the first 3 rounds, guaranteed.
So let me have Anthony Richardson out of Florida. Let me have Hooker from Tennessee. Give me Will Levis from Kentucky.
Yeah.
Thompson Robinson out of UCLA.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Bo Nix. I mean, that's already like 5 QBs right there, and Bo Nix is probably going.
And you're not even talking about the top 2, like Stroud and Young. That's 7 quarterbacks.
Yeah, that's already.
Do people really need more? I mean,
that's already there. So, yeah, I'm trying to see where they even have Stetson. Where they even have him.
Dude, he's not even in the top 20.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's his name? Max Duggan they have him at 16. I think he'll go before Bennett.
He's not even in the top 20 quarterback prospects. Because let's call it what it is. He's 5'11" and he's 25 years old. He's a senior. And I think he's a 5-year. So although he's won back-to-back national championships, he's old. I mean, Joe Burrow is 26. We're talking about Joe Burrow is about to be signed to a new contract. He's been playing in the NFL for 3 years now. And the other guy, Stetson, is still in college. That's, he's not going before the 3rd round.
He just needs to hang it up. Whatever degree he got at Georgia, you need to work a real job, buddy. It's time. It's time.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Ride the success of 2 national championships. You can open up whatever you want in town and be the hero for life in Georgia. But, just ride that for the rest of your life, man.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting whenever the draft comes. It's going to be real interesting whenever the draft comes. I can't wait.
We all need to get together for the draft. We need to make something happen this year where we all get together.
I'm down.
Yeah.
You have a little draft
That'd
party.
be great.
When is the draft exactly? What day is it on?
That is on a Thursday. April 27th is the day.
Oh, okay. So it's at the end of April. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
End of April.
I'm looking at this projected draft, right? And Colt, you're right on the money. They have Bijan going 19 to Tampa.
Man, I'm telling you, I'd be so shocked if he goes top 10. It would blow my mind. But even top 9, I think if you're giving me the Eagles and you're saying top 9, I'm taking that money to the bank right now, bro. There's no shot he goes top 9.
So, and they actually have the Eagles getting an offensive tackle, and they have Carolina.
If they're smart, that's what they'll do.
Johnson out of TCU. So we'll see.
Okay.
Either you're going to be a real happy man, or you're going to be paying a lot of people.
Hey, we'll see, man. Yeah, I don't know. If he goes top 9, If an organization is smart, they are not taking Bijan Robinson top 10. Just you've seen what happens with running backs who are taken high. It doesn't matter how good and talented they are; their bodies just wear faster. They wear down. Like top offensive linemen like Zach Martin, if you hit on one of those guys, they play for 10 to 11, sometimes 13 years. Or you can take a running back who has maybe 5 to 6 years before he's completely toast, like Zeke is. He can't run fast. He can't really, get out and break tackles anymore. So I don't know. It would be really bad football to take him that high.
Yeah, it was sad seeing Zeke play against Tennessee because I was so high on him, and just no, man. You got 32 yards, I want to say, on 19 carries.
Yeah,
and he only looked good because he had one touchdown. Like, no.
Yep.
I mean, here's the thing though. Like, if I don't see, here's the thing. I don't think Bijan would go to the Eagles because the Eagles are going to either have to drop Miles Sanders, I should say, or trade him. And I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're going to re-sign Miles Sanders after what he did this year.
You think they're re-signing him?
Yeah, or they're going to sign him.
I mean, okay, so he's an unrestricted free agent this year, and he's 26 years old. Yes, he looked good this season, but he didn't the previous 3. So if I'm like, that's actually to me a prime candidate to move on from because he put together a really good year and he's going to command a higher amount of money, but you only have 1 out of 4 years of stats to where you can say, okay, we know we're getting a killer. You might be getting a killer. He's only done it for 1 of his 4 years in the organization. He's been injured and he hasn't put it together in previous seasons. So you're going to overpay a running back who could potentially be a bust, or you can go get a top-tier running back who you know is a lock to be successful in that role. To me, I'm doing that. And you have him, you have a command over him for the next 5 seasons.
So here's what I think is going to happen. I think the Eagles are going to want to franchise tag Miles Sanders, and then they're going to go for a defensive player this year because that's really all they need to soup up is their defense. I think their offense is well-rounded at this point. I don't think they really need anything on the offensive side, and so I think they booster their defense because that's where they're lacking right now. And then next year they could probably go for like a running back or something like that once they get rid of Miles Sanders. But
okay, let it be known this doesn't get talked about too much, but do you? This may be completely dumb, and I don't want to dumb it down for you. Are y'all aware of like how the franchise tag is created and what that number is based off of?
What are you talking about? No, what do you mean?
So like whenever you say I'm going to slap a franchise tag on a player, the number is created based off the 5 highest salaries of the position. So for a quarterback, if you say I'm going to franchise tag Trevor or Joe Burrow. Well, now you're going to pay the average of the top 5 highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL. That's what the number for Joe Burrow is going to be for a singular year, which it works out to be $32,445,000. So that's how that number is created. So
Miles Sanders
when you say we're just going to, no, he's not, but he's going to get paid like one because the franchise tag number is $10,100,000. You'd have to pay him for a single season because the inflated Zeke deal and stuff of that nature.
That's right.
That bumps the number higher than it should be. So it's actually unlikely that they franchise tag him because the number would be so hard for a singular season. They would probably either sign him to a multi-year contract or move on from him. I don't know that anybody's franchising a running back this year because the cap hit would be pretty heavy. $10 million for a one-year contract. Yeah, so, I mean, just throwing that out there, that's how they would, as a team, would look at that.
Dude, Zeke really ruined everything for running backs. I swear.
He did, man. I mean, Todd Gurley really did it. It was him.
Oh, yeah, Todd Gurley really did.
Who started that.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
And then plus, if the Eagles don't get Robinson, go back to AK. Talk to the Saints. See what they're willing to do. I mean, he's 27. Didn't have the hottest season.
That's true.
Which could play in their favor. Because we know when AK is fully healthy, he's elite.
He needs.
I actually really like that move.
He needs so much to be done because he can be so good. Alvin Kamara, but I don't know. He's just put in a bad situation right now with the Saints. Why are they playing Jameson? Why aren't they playing Jameson Wilson or Winston over there? I don't understand that. But yeah, I don't know. Like if I see if AK goes to the Eagles, that would be a great move, honestly.
I would be happy and sad at the same time. That's just as a Dallas Cowboys fan.
Okay, as a Dallas Cowboys fan, how nervous are you going into the playoffs, by the way?
Do you want me to talk with my heart or with my brain?
Oh, always with the heart.
So my heart is we demolish Brady.
Oh.
What my brain says, though?
Yeah.
It's not going to happen, man. The way that Dak has been playing, it's unacceptable. For what? The money that the Cowboys gave him? Like, you have the weapons. You have CD. I get it. Michael Gallup is slowly going into form. You have Dalton Schultz, who that's like his go-to. You have an older T.Y., but then you also have Tony Pollard, who's electric. Yeah. And for the red zone, you give it to slow Zeke and just let him just drive through and get the touchdown. But I don't know what Dak's been playing terrible.
He has, honestly. I'm really worried because every time they've played the Buccaneers in recent times, they've lost against Tom Brady. Mm-hmm. That's my
Tom Brady's
fear.
never lost to the Cowboys.
That's so scary.
And
y'all want to hear a funny stat? So this is something that I don't know how much it actually plays into it, but it's kind of funny to look at. Have y'all seen the grass stat that's going around for the Cowboys? How they've played 5 games on grass this year, and they've lost 4 of them, and they've only won 1 game on grass, which was against Tennessee. But the rest of the playoff schedule, Tampa Bay, Philly, and San Francisco, if we were to move on in each round, they're all played on grass.
Oh, man.
So that doesn't look too good for us.
If we do beat the Bucks and we have to face Philly and it would be at Philly, I think Jalen Hurts gets his revenge from not playing last game.
Yeah. I could see it.
Because Gardner Minshew was torching us.
He was.
But my thing is like, where's the defense at? Like, where's Micah?
They just
I feel
disappeared.
like I feel like he hasn't shown up since Thanksgiving Day.
Mm-hmm. They haven't. They've been. Their defense has really been falling down. I don't know what happened or what's going on. But yeah, that's scary.
Yeah, as far as Micah Parsons goes, he had a quote. I think it was about halfway through the year, maybe closer to after Thanksgiving. And they were talking about how, like, from year 1 to year 2, he's receiving a ridiculous amount more of, like, double teams. And he's lining up more on the defensive line than he is a linebacker. He played linebacker in college, was his primary position. And he did say, he was like, I'm paraphrasing, it was along the lines of, you take on so much more wear and tear on your body as an edge rusher, you're getting hit every single play, and it's like maximum hits. He said the trenches are very dirty, and that like the wear and tear on his body this season compared to last year is significantly more. So, how much is that factoring into his slower production on top of the double teams? You have to wonder, is that playing a factor right now?
And then since he did so good his rookie season, I mean, getting compared to LT, I mean, I don't think that's fair. Compared to what he's doing now, completely different. And I think that's why he gets kind of like the backlash, just because he was so good his rookie season. And now look at him. I mean,
yeah. I mean, he's not bad. He said he has the second highest behind Myles Garrett. He's the second highest graded defensive player over the year. So, like, he is not getting the flashy plays, which is similar to what Tank Lawrence, that was always the thing, is his quarterback pressures, and he never really had the sacks, but, like, he did all the dirty work and was actually graded as a very good defensive edge guy. It's similar with Parsons right now. He's actually the second highest graded overall defensive player, although he is not leading the league in sacks like you would hope. He's still putting in that ridiculous work, and he's up there with the elites.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens this upcoming week. So we'll probably have a podcast on Sunday too, for those of y'all that are listening, because we want to bring our friend Luis back, and he's available on Sundays. So we'll probably talk more about this before the game starts on Monday. All right,
get your prediction for the game on prediction.
Yeah. All right, fellas, we're nearing the end, but before we close it out, I want to hear your keepers for this keeper league that we're in. For those of you that are unaware, we are all three of us are in a keeper league, and we get to keep 3 people from our team, and I want to know your picks. You go first, David.
Put me on the spot.
Yeah.
So, no-brainer. First one, Justin Jefferson.
He's got Justin Jefferson. Yeah.
I think that's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Number 2, I'm going to go with Jalen Waddle.
Really?
I liked what he did
love
this
that
year, and I feel he's still going to keep progressing. It was between him or T. Higgins. I just feel like Waddle has more upside. And number 3, so I paid kind of high on this player, and I feel like it would be dumb on my part to not take him. I mean, when he's healthy, he's a top 5 running back. He proved it last game. He put up 27. And so my final keeper is going to be DeAndre Swift. And either that's going to come to bite me or I'm going to be good.
Yeah.
Honestly, so, I mean, there is no... So, just for the viewers, I gave away Najee Harris and a 3rd-round pick for DeAndre Swift, who at the time, Najee wasn't doing nothing. I had an extra 3rd round to shop with. So, I just feel like Swift can be that guy for me. And I kind of didn't want to... I wanted to keep Lamar. That's who I wanted to keep.
I know.
At first.
Yeah.
I mean, I told Derric that multiple times. I wanted to keep Lamar. But now with this injury, can't really trust him. And I feel like I can probably get him next year if I really wanted to. The only QBs that I can see keeping is Mahomes, Allen. Maybe Joe Burrow, depending on the person, if he doesn't have any keepers.
Don't say that.
He lit it up. So, I don't know.
And
Justin Herbert.
Justin Herbert, you think, too?
I would,
I can see that.
I would.
I know Luis is. That's
and
who
so I wanted to keep Lamar.
Luis is totally keeping him.
I'm going to go with Swift over Aaron Jones. It's going to come to haunt me, or I'm going to ride in the sunset. So, we'll see how it goes.
It's a risky move, but I like it, to be honest. You also have T. Higgins, which is, I mean, he's good too, so I don't know. That was a tough call.
That's tough because, I mean, have 2 wide receivers and have my flex spot filled with another wide receiver.
Yeah, that's true.
Also, like I said, I still have all my draft capital, so I mean, I can stack on running backs.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right, Colton, you're up. I want to hear your picks.
Boys,
Keepers?
I'm dying here.
Dude,
I'm really dying.
You have such a good team, and I don't know how you didn't make it to the playoffs, but
Injuries.
your team is so good, even with injuries. His team.
Can I make a prediction, Colt?
Sure.
Let me just make a prediction. Jamar Chase, Nick Chubb, Kenneth Walker. That's what I think. What do you think, Derric?
It's close. I'll tell you it's close.
What do you think, Derric?
I would keep AJ Brown, Jamar Chase, and Nick Chubb.
So that's what I'm leaning right now.
Dude,
that's what I'm leaning. I'm leaning AJ Brown, Chase, and Chubb.
AJ Brown, Chase, and Chubb. I mean, honestly, that's really good. You're dropping a lot of good players.
A lot of young running backs. A lot of young running backs.
I know it.
So for
yeah,
which could come in favor.
So I'm dropping
Dobbins.
Dobbins.
Needs a running back.
Yeah, I'm dropping Dobbins. I'm dropping ETN. I'm dropping Walker. I'm dropping Dillon.
You're dropping.
They're all
Ayuk.
like in their young 20s. I'm dropping Ayuk as well. I'm dropping Joe Burrow. God dang, man! Oh, this sucks. But the only saving grace to this is that I have the 101 this year. I got lucky enough to get the 101. So but here's the thing: do I go Bijan or do I go with someone else?
I wouldn't go Bijan. It depends on what team he goes to.
Yeah,
goes to.
Oh man.
Well, I don't know, dude.
I guess ETN will be there.
I don't know. That's a tough choice. Bijan is going to be good for Dynasty. Like, he's going to be good long term.
I know.
Yeah. The only person that scares me is Chubb. With Watson.
Right.
I mean, I think you said it in like last week's episode, Colt. He hasn't been producing with Deshaun Watson, so that's kind of scary. Yeah. But I mean,
so Dad, let me ask you: would you take if you're taking a running back? Are you let me ask you. So Brown and Chase, we'll say they're locked in, and I want a running back. If I'm not taking Chubb, are you taking ETN?
I personally like Kenneth Walker better.
Yeah, I would say Kenneth Walker as well.
Ooh, really?
I personally like Kenneth
Walker. Wow.
It's only because he's younger. Also,
I just feel like he's a young beast mode, man. He just trucks everybody. Gets in the way.
That's fair. But I mean, yeah, you're not wrong.
It is hard to let go of Chubb, though. I mean, because that's let's just say if we were doing the draft again, he's a late first, early second round pick.
Yeah, I mean, for sure.
Yeah,
and in keeper, he's a first. Like in the dynasty, in the keeper redraft. Like, let's say I don't take Chubb, he's probably 102. Like whoever 100%. Is right behind me is taking Nick Chubb if he's dropped. So, like, it's tough not to keep that guy because, at the early part of the season, he was really good. But I don't know. I feel like I have to just take the two dominant wide receivers. Like, they were just so good this year. And, Chase did get that injury, but I don't know. So, I'm having a lot of struggles. I don't know that it's solidified, but the wide receivers, those two guys are solidified. It's just the third one.
Or do you go with your heart and choose J.K. Dobbins?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I love J.K. Dobbins, man. Oh, I love him.
Yeah. I mean, he's young. He's like, he's got a good situation. If they can get better players around him next draft, dude, he could be good.
But who knows where Lamar goes?
He could.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, yeah. See, that's the scary thing. There's just so much up in the air there.
I think they signed Lamar.
I don't know.
They don't want to give him the money.
It's tough. What about you, Derric?
So mine are pretty easy. I literally dropped most of my players like towards the end of the season because I knew exactly who I was going to keep. So it's going to be Amon-Ra, St. Brown. He's going to be my wide receiver that I'm keeping. And then it's going to be Christian McCaffrey and then Saquon Barkley. And so, like, I'm taking a risk here because I really wanted to keep two wide receivers. But the thing is, I had to start off the season, I had Cooper Kupp. Luckily, I got rid of him. But I really wanted to keep 2 receivers going into next year, but I guess it ended up being the opposite. So
yeah, 2 running back stack, which it'll be interesting to see like who anybody else keeps, because like, will the draft be loaded with wide receivers, or is the draft going to be loaded with running backs? You know, like who's keeping what?
So, what running backs would you keep though, if you had these running backs on your team?
On my team?
Just on anybody. So, like on yours, Derrick, you have CMC, Barkley. Let's say Colton keeps Chubb. That's 3.
Mm-hmm.
Who else is an elite running back that you would keep?
If it's on
I'll
Colton's
get what
team,
you're saying.
No, just in general. Just in general.
No. Like I guess we're trying to guess who could potentially be left in the draft. Is that what you're trying to get at?
Yeah, essentially.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I mean,
let's just say, would you keep Dalvin Cook if he was on your team?
No. I think I'm getting rid of him.
Okay.
That's a tough call.
Josh Jacobs? You don't know if the Raiders.
Well, hold on. Now hold on, because we need to put it in like a. I guess we need to put it in like almost a vacuum. Like, whose team are they on? Are they being kept on that squad? Because if Dalvin Cook's your best player, he's your best player. But if you have Eckler and Fournette or someone like that, you know, like,
that's true.
Are they being kept? So, I don't know. These are tough. You got to if you go down the rosters. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say Dalvin Cook has been really scary the last few weeks that he's played. Like, he has not been producing that great. But yeah, go ahead, Colt.
No, I just putting on to what Dav said. Like, okay, Zach's probably keeping Eckler for sure.
Yeah,
100%. I talked to him the other day. He said he's probably going to keep Hollywood, and he's keeping Fields. So
really,
you're letting
go
Watson drop?
Jalen Hurts,
really,
for Fields?
Yeah. Well, actually, I take that back. It was between those 2 guys. It was between the 2 of those guys. He hadn't fully decided, but he has decided that he's keeping a quarterback, and it is one of those 2 guys. I forgot that he had Hurts.
That's interesting.
But that means Mark Andrews is in the pool. Mark Andrews, top tight end, is going to be back out there. Derrick is not keeping Kittle, so he goes back out there. I'm not keeping
Kittle.
And the elite
Washington
tight ends
Sentinels
are getting very slim.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. The Sentinels, that's Stephon. He's keeping Allen for sure, right?
Mm-hmm.
He has to.
He's keeping Henry for sure. Like, there's no way you're dropping Henry.
Oh my God! So whoever gets first or second is going to be able to get Stephon Diggs or Tyreek Hill. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah,
it's gonna be
exactly. Either that.
Get him.
You're right. Crazy. I may have the option to get one of those guys. I don't know that.
But you already have.
But Diggs is there, I'm taking.
But you're already gonna have.
Oh, you're right.
2 wide receivers.
But a flex, you wouldn't. You're telling me you wouldn't have Stephon Diggs or Tyreek as a flex?
Back.
Yeah.
This is what it's going to come down to.
You could also shop though, Cole, and say, "Hey, you need a wide receiver? I have Stephon Diggs or Tyreek. You have a top 5 running back.
True.
Let's talk."
That's true. That would open things up for me. I see. This is going to be so interesting as people get kept and you start looking at the actual draft board, how it's going to end up looking. Like, oh man, it gets nuts. So, and I don't know. I don't know if I'm allowed, like, I guess, off-season draft trades or not. It gets kind of complicated to keep up with because you can't trade players at all. Then it's just straight draft picks. So it gets pretty tough to keep up with. But, I mean, I guess we'll put it up to a league vote to see because that could make things even crazier. You start putting the ability to trade in the offseason for draft picks. People could shoot up the board to get someone they really like.
All right. Well, let's stop talking, and I think we'll close it out for this for today's podcast. Thank you, everybody, for listening to us. We really appreciate everybody sticking around to the end. You can follow us on Twitter at @halftime_ADJ. And we'll probably start recording on Sundays from now on, now that the fantasy season is pretty much over. And we'll start talking about like playoff stuff and dynasty more, which is really something that I'm looking forward to because there's going to be a lot of controversy around that. So it should be fun. Thank you to our guest, Davs. You're welcome.
Thank y'all for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. It was so great to have you
Anytime,
here. You're welcome back whenever. And like I said, thank you to everybody who listened. You can listen to us on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts, and now on Amazon Podcasts as well. So, thank you guys for listening to us.
Vinyl's coming soon, so be ready. Going everywhere.
Yeah, right. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you guys next week. Later.